right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the checked in sessions.
Yes.
John the Torres. And if you remember now, the first checked in sessions, my special guest was my nephew, Gerardo. And, I decided I'm going to do another checked in sessions. This time here, Medellin, Colombia. And my special guest today, I've known this man for over 10 years.
Damn, that long?
In over 10 years, yeah. He's a good friend, mentor. I can go to him for advice, guidance, and a whole bunch of outrageous questions and concerns. He puts up with a lot. A lot of patience, this man. This man is Miguel Acevedo.
Hey.
Miguel, thank you for joining Checked In Sessions.
Of course, this is
with John the Torres.
This is definitely something that I've been waiting to do. So since you told me the idea, I've been wanting to be a part of one of these Checked In Sessions. So let's get it.
All right, so I'm gonna start off with this. So, Miguel, this is your first time here in Medellin, in Colombia, in South America, and I want to ask you, when we're in that taxi, when we're leaving the airport, and we go through the tunnel there, and then eventually you have the view of the city, because when you're coming from the airport, we're up on a hill, and you see Medellin, the whole city. You see it down below. What's going through your mind when you're looking out the window and you're seeing the sights and whatnot?
So let's rewind even. So coming in on the airplane was big for me because I've always wanted to come down to South America. Obviously, it has, we're in the middle of the country right now. You got the Andes Mountains and all that stuff. And to see it, especially flying so low, the way the planes come into the airport over here is pretty awesome to see. So even that was extremely exciting for me. I was in the window like a little kid watching that. You know what I mean? And you get a glimpse of the city because they go over the city here in this valley and go around a mountain where there's an opening and go into the next valley, which is where the airport is. And then even before we go into the tunnel, just seeing how it looks, it's awesome. I definitely love that kind of stuff. The surroundings and the greenery and just you can see all the backgrounds and the mountains in the back and the clouds and all that. I love all that. So even before we went into the tunnel was dope. So the tunnel itself too was amazing. I don't know how long the tunnel is. I meant to look that up, but we were in the tunnel for about 20 minutes. And that's a long tunnel. That's definitely a long tunnel. And then coming out, seeing the city and seeing how vast the city is, and just stretches throughout the entire valley. It's pretty. It's shocking almost. You don't realize how big it is. Things that I like the most about the city is, even though it's so huge, there's buildings everywhere. There's people everywhere. They've built all over the place. It has trees and greenery all over the place, parks all over the city. I know Boston has a lot of parks through the city, and even New York, you got Central Park and all that, but I don't think either one of those compares to how green this city is at all. It's great.
And you even said when we were in the taxi coming into the city, something that you noticed right away is that the amount of flowers, plants that they have
right away
when you're going throughout the neighborhoods. It's not like you said, it's not just taken over by the urban concrete jungle.
It's not a concrete jungle. Exactly. You go to New York and there's parts of the city where there's a lot of greenery, but for the vast majority of New York, it's a concrete jungle. You know what I mean? How many trees do you really see when you're walking through New York? Until you get to a park, and this is the difference, right? You get to a park and then there's trees and all that. Here, it's not just in the parks. It's literally all over the buildings, around the buildings. They kept the trees all in the street. The way that they built around the city, the river, the whole city's built around the rivers and all that. It's awesome.
So all right, so we finally when we get into the city. So the first night we stayed over by La Setenta, and La Setenta is a strip made up of just a whole bunch of bars,
Right.
restaurants, hotels, nightclubs, roughly a 15 to 20 block stretch of just all of that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we just had a brief moment of technical difficulties, but just picking up where we left off at. So,
But it was nice. The bars are all nice over there. It's very local. There wasn't a lot of tourists. We went on a night of a Bad Bunny concert, which was already, I mean, just in general, it was packed. And I think that just added to it, especially when the concert was over, obviously. Like a parade of, I don't know, 50,000 people or so.
but just about because the over there in La Setenta area, you have the stadium, and then you have the train station, and then you have the actual Setenta with, as we mentioned earlier, the bars, restaurants,
Right.
etc. And yeah, the Bad Bunny concert, I think that just turned up the volume.
There's no doubt. You could tell when we first got to the city and when we went over there to La Setenta, you could tell that the city was already, because he already had a concert the night before. The city was just like, it was. The volume was turned up, the flame was up, and the city was jumping because Benito was in town. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And what made it more special too is because that was not only our first date, but that was my birthday. That was my
Right.
birthday, and come in and like I said, this is Miguel's first time out here. Bad Bunny was in town. The streets were filled. So, what better way to introduce somebody to not only Medellin but Colombia?
Right. Definitely, because it was a nice first night. Very live. Perfect night to start.
Big time, big time.
It was good to have I felt comfortable that a fellow Puerto Rican was nearby.
Oh, hey. And speaking of all that madness going on, so we head over to the stadium where the concert was taking place. We didn't have any tickets. It's all good though because there was a lot of people out and about and enjoying themselves and having drinks.
The vibe around the stadium was dope. When we went down there, there was like you said, there was a lot of people. There was still a lot of people filing in because we just went over there out of curiosity, so to speak, right? And there was a lot going on. It was jumping around there, and we stayed for a little while, hung out, and Benito started his concert, and you could just feel it in the air almost. You could hear the bass in the background and the fireworks going off, and you could kind of hear Benito singing in the background. It was pretty dope. And it was cool because I went to a concert, and the one in Boston, which was a couple months ago, and it like gave me goosebumps almost when you can hear him start to sing in the background because he's a great showman, so you can kind of it gave me a little goosebumps when it.
You can't help but to just get caught up in the moment, even if you're not in the stadium or at the concert.
Right, exactly.
Just again,
it was
fireworks and whatnot.
Right, it was really cool just to be around and just kind of still feel the vibe, even though we weren't even in there.
That was good enough for me too because I haven't been to his concert and
right.
It would have been nice to go to, but hey,
yeah.
That's something that I'll take.
That just shows you how big of an artist he is, though. I know we're bearing off into a Bad Bunny conversation, but just not even you don't even have to be there, and you can feel it in the air here in Medellin. You know what I mean? Literally, you could feel it in the air.
Without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. And then as the night went on, we head back to La Setenta.
Right.
And we're having drinks. The place that we were at, they were playing all kinds of great music, classics.
Yep.
Whether it be classes from Colombia or from Puerto Rico. It was a wonderful time, and you see the crowd just marching out of the stadium, and it became rainy. It became rainy, but still,
rain didn't matter. The rain is great, and it starts to rain in the city. It's great. We can talk about that in a minute, but we were at this one place, and it was full of locals. So it's definitely more locals there. I mean, it was all Colombians, and they were playing like vallenato and some classic Colombian songs, some classic salsa songs, some reggaeton de antes, from Puerto Rico, and like everybody was singing it, and people would dance, and it was just sitting there, kind of watching everybody sing together. Was dope. And it actually reminds me of in Puerto Rico when you're there and they start to play some of that old stuff that everybody knows. And even some of these songs were out before some of these people were even born that record, for Christ's sake, but they all know it. You know what I mean? And they're all singing together, like a big giant family. Most of these people don't even know each other. And
Exactly.
it's a great, great vibe.
Yeah, you had hands up in the air, drinks up in the air, and then there was a part where people were, so I think the employees, they were passing out balloons.
Yeah, because they were doing like a birthday celebration.
Yeah, and they were, and once again, that was the night of my birthday. And
it was like probably, if I remember correctly, there was like 7 other people that had their birthday going on at that place. And that place was not big. It was just packed.
And then those 7 other people, they all got their shout out for their birthday.
Right.
But me, not playing the head.
We did.
Hey, John the Torres didn't get his shout out, but he had a wonderful night. And
we were sitting right next to the DJ too.
Yeah, right next to the DJ. So shout out or not, it was a hell of a night.
Good.
And Miguel, so this is your first time here. We're in La Setenta, and then eventually the next day we hop on the train. We hop on the Metro Medellin subway, whatever you want to call it. But out here they refer to it as Metro Medellin. So we hop on the train, and just tell me what was that like for you? Because I know you're somebody who can appreciate that, and also it's something that you could take back with your son, because your son is very big in the trains, and you can show him footage of your time on here. So what anything going through your mind when you're hopping on that train out here?
I mean, for me, it was exciting because, like you said, we call my son a trainiac, right? And it's something that the whole family has kind of got into over time. And I've always enjoyed trains. I don't mind riding the public, transit system, whatever it is, and wherever I am.
Yeah,
right?
Not that much.
Not that much.
You don't mind them that much.
I don't mind the trains. I do mind the buses. That's another conversation for another day. But the train system here was it sort of surprised me on how big it is. It's not a huge system, but it's like it does cover a vast majority of the city. It's extremely busy. It's run very well. It's extremely clean. Extremely clean. Yeah. And I mean, that puts U.S. cities to shame. All right, so this is a disclaimer here, whatever you want to call it. People talk a lot, down talk about places in South America and the rest of Latin America and all that. The subway system here is spotless. It runs well. They have it. It seems like they have it, run like smoothly. All these issues that you may see, like we see back home. Yeah. It literally, in my opinion, puts all the other ones to shame.
Yeah, no, and it's that's out here. You rarely see any delays in service, or you rarely hear or experience. Speaking for us, you don't. We didn't experience any type of inconvenience.
Nothing.
Anyways, Metro Medellin. So again, if you find yourself out here, you want to save on taxis and Ubers, Metro Medellin, great option to get around, whether you're in Poblado, whether you are in the centro, anywhere in the city. It covers almost every popular neighborhood. So
it's right. It goes right down the center of the city too. The best thing is you get a real look at the city. If you're in a cab and all that, you're driving around. The ride is probably nice. Walk around, you see a lot. Being in the train, it's an elevated train. So you get, kind of that like upper level view of everything. And not only that, the cable cars obviously are way up there, and you really get a good view of everything. And they go up into the valley, up the mountain into the valley and all that, and you see the entire city as you're going up in that scary gondola.
And speaking of the cable cars, that was another first for you.
Yes.
We went to, and how appropriate. We took the Metro subway train to Acevedo Station.
Yep, that was a big a big number one for me to do here. It's for me to see my name up there is pretty cool. And then like I said, my son he enjoyed it as well. He got excited that there was an Acevedo Station, and I didn't tell him right away. I just waited till I came out, recorded some video, took some pictures for him, and sent it. And he was all excited about it. But
Yeah, man. So yeah, we get to your station,
my station, right?
Acevedo station, and then yeah, so we hop on those cable cars and we head to the west side of the city, and we take those cable cars all the way up to the very last stop,
All the way up.
To Picacho, to the neighborhood of Picacho.
Right.
And you get out there at Picacho. It's a very charming neighborhood, and it's just locals, and you get the small little stores and bars, and but roughly 15, maybe 20 minutes away from the metro cable car station, you have an even more of an outlook of the city, which is what was the name of it?
It was so the neighborhood is named after that mountain, which is Picacho. So it's Cerro Picacho, but it's what they say here is a mirador, right?
Yeah,
It's like a lookout. It's a lookout spot. Where back in the States you get like a scenic road, and there's usually you can pull over and kind of look and see if you're up high and all that. It's something like that. Well, a lot of people see that in pictures when you look at Medellin. There's a bunch of them, but that's what it was in that neighborhood.
And then, and then we get to Picacho, right? And then to even have even more of an outlook of the city, which when you get out of the Metro cable car station, that view is amazing. It's amazing. It's breathtaking. It's blissful. You see the clouds; they're flowing low. You see all the houses just stacked on each other.
Right.
But then we we hop in the taxi. And so in that area, it's very hillsy, and that's an understatement because those hills, they're steep. They are steep.
Mountain.
And we hop in the taxi, and
to try to get to the mirador.
Yeah,
so we wanted to see one of the lookouts,
the principal one. Yeah, and then but the taxi driver, he even said himself, he's like, no, those streets are way too up there. My taxi's not gonna make it.
Yeah,
I can drop you guys off to at least the initial entry point, but you're on your own from there. You're gonna have to walk. It's gonna be about 15, 20 minutes. And I'm looking at Miguel. I'm like, do you want to call this off? Do you want to go through with this? We get to the entry point. Miguel was like, yeah, man, it's too hot for this. It's too hot because it was, a very sunny and not hot day, but very warm day. And that hike up to the principal outlook there in the Picacho neighborhood, it just put it to you like this. We weren't ready, and we weren't, and we're not physically prepared to do that.
There was no way that we were going to complete that trip.
No way.
There was, I don't even know how to explain it, but it literally just goes straight up. These neighborhoods, they have staircases that go up in the mountain so that people can get to their homes and walk through their neighborhood and so forth. And this guy already drove up the mountain and all that, which I was expecting because we have roads like that in Puerto Rico, but this is obviously a mountain that's a lot bigger than the ones we have. And when he pulled up to that spot and was like, yeah, it's only about a 15-minute walk, I was like, first of all, he's not going to make it.
Yeah.
And then, it was like 80 degrees. The sun was blazing, which we didn't expect it to be that hot. And in that neighborhood was a little, a little, I don't want to say shady, but didn't seem like would be a good idea for two, basically gringos to be walking through that neighborhood.
Yeah. Here in the neighborhood, Picacho. Miguel, how you feeling right now?
Feeling great.
Beautiful view, man. Beautiful view. Beautiful women.
Everything is beautiful over there.
That's all she wrote.